Absolute Batman has readers buzzing.
Amadeus Cho is hot again.
And we answer that viewer mail about Rob Liefeld's infamous boobtacular Captain America drawing that broke the internet. All that and a lot more in this week's episode of Bronze and Modern Gods. It's another Monday. We are here. We are John.
And Richard.
If you don't follow us on Facebook and Instagram, please rectify that ASAP. Bronze and Modern Gods is the handle. Give us a like, hit subscribe. Blah, 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 blah. Richard, we've got underrated books of the week. We've got lots of viewer mail. Let's get going. Let's get right to it with our hot book of the week. Richard, what is it?
Hot book of the week is Absolute Batman #1. DC
To the
Comics.
shock of no one.
Have you read this yet?
I read it today in preparation for the show. Have you read it?
Same here. I read it today.
All right, let's give everybody the info first. It's the first issue of this new alternate reality Batman title. The raws of cover A are selling anywhere from $6 to $22 on eBay, depending on how much of a sucker you are, I suppose. There's no rhyme nor reason to these eBay sales, are there?
No, it never is, though.
The 1 in 100 Jim Lee sketch cover is pretty steady at about $125 if that's your jam. There are many, many variants for this book. My local LCS has tons still on the shelves. How about you?
You know what? I haven't been since this issue came out, but be interested to find out.
I just wonder why it's selling for over cover price. Is something going on in the rest of the country? You guys hit me in the comments. Let us know. But the most important thing, Richard, what did you think? You read it.
Okay. #1, there is a reason why the logo on his chest is the way it is.
Yes, it's a very stupid reason, but it's a reason. I know.
It's a reimagining of the whole Batman mythos, right? I mean, instead of, anyway, I'm not going to go deep into it, but all the different characters that you would think of when you think of Batman are a part of this series, but in a different way. I mean, then I haven't seen one character that matches up with the way things were. And it's an interesting reimagining, and I'm looking forward to seeing more issues of it.
Without spoiling stuff, I think we can say a few things. Bruce Wayne is 24 or 25 years old, so we're looking at a young Bruce Wayne. Alfred is not a stodgy old butler. We can't say much more without spoiling it, but he's pretty much he's
badass.
He's also the driving force in the first issue, at least. You've got a big twist with the Thomas and Martha Wayne, which we will not spoil. It's good. It's fun. It's bloody.
Yes.
What is the point?
And it's not a black label either. The fact that there is so much violence in it depicted and it not being one of their adult black label comics is interesting.
That didn't bug me. The reason why I say what is the point is not because of the violence. What is the point of this book?
That's a good question. I'm assuming it's just telling this alternate. I think people have read the Batman origin story to death. And this gives a new slant and a new direction to all the different characters, and it gives them a chance to grow in different ways.
Is it a mini series? Is it an ongoing? If it's an ongoing, is this basically DC and Scott Snyder throwing up their hands saying, we can't figure out what to do with the regular Batman titles, so let us just make us a different thing inspired by Batman, which I guess, at least with Marvel, Ultimate Spider-Man, things like that, there was a point. It was, hey, this is for readers who are lost in continuity, who can't follow things. We want a younger, unmarried Peter Parker or Miles Morales at the time. It doesn't seem to have that same mission statement, or am I missing something?
No, I see it kind of like, the whole Elseworlds, where it tells its own story that's not a part of any continuity. You're right. I don't think it has any place in the mythos of the Batman that we've read since 1939. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I don't mind people taking different shots at the characters and seeing what they can do.
But, again, no spoilers, but there are essential changes that make it not Batman, basically. I mean, it's just not Batman if you make these changes. It's
Yeah.
it's like Stanley Imagines the DC Universe presents Batman. Remember those? You know?
Yeah, it's like, okay, somebody was told to make a Batman character with only a broad sketch of what his real origin was.
And never have seen the actual Batman chest emblem.
I still feel that calls back to Frank Miller.
I get it. I hate it. I know. What do you guys think? We are two old farts. We have a whole segment about it in the show every other week. But it was entertaining. Will I be around for issue 2? No.
No, I think it's going to be around for. Personally, I feel it's going to be a miniseries. It's going to be kind of like the Dark Mail stuff. It's going to play its course and then be done, unless it gets to be very popular and people are buying up every single issue, and then DC may change their mind, and it could branch into something bigger. But for me, I'm seeing 6-7 issue limited.
It already is very popular. They just announced a 3rd printing this week.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how popular issue number 6 is. Let's call it that.
I don't get it. Why use the all-in branding on the cover if it's not part of the new all-in continuity that they're DC, explain it to me slow, like I'm a 5-year-old. I don't understand.
They got their old logo back. Yay.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of old logos, Richard and I did not plan to wear the same t-shirt today.
We have some brainwave thing going on where we had to go. But yeah, this was not planned at all.
We have been doing this show far too long. All right. If it's your first time here, welcome. We see lots of new subscribers in the last couple of weeks. So you're going to hear a lot of inside jokes. You're going to hear a lot of things that go over your head. Stick around. Once you get it, it's funny. Trust me. We do this thing where we go and show off some books that we got in our collections in the past week or in the past. It's called Show and Tell. And we make a magic transition to that show and tell screen by doing this with our fingers. We didn't say it was funny or it made sense. We just said we do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Hey, Speed Carter Spaceman number 3. And the Space Sentinels. Very Futurama, kind of 50s sci-fi. The release of that Atlas Comics library volume collecting this entire series along with Space Squadron, it inspired me to dig into the bins of my collection. And I just noticed my 3, I need a different number 3. See that big chip?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I need to upgrade my number 3 since, my number 1's a 7.5 slab. Yes. I think my number 3 should be a little nicer.
Slumming with that thing.
Not Godzilla, by the way. Just
legally not Godzilla.
Right? Look at the lazy lizard in the bottom corner. Oh, I'm so high. Half moon eyelids. But just awesome cover.
What about the moron who's got the drill on the ice and he's drilling a hole on the ice he's standing on?
He's from Lake Erie. What is your first show and tell book?
All right. In honor of all the new people we've got, I'm going to show some books that I've had for a while, but these are all important books to me, and they're all Golden Age books, Good Girl Art books. We're going to start off with Zoot Comics.
Before you start, when NBC used to have summer reruns, they would say, "It's new to you." Run.
This is Zoot number 11. I looked for this book forever. I was looking for this book for over a year and could not find one in the price range I was willing to pay. And then one of our readers came and posted that this book was available on, of all places, Etsy.
Crazy.
So yeah, Ariel, thank you so much for giving me that tip. I went to Etsy, and I believe it was $45 for the book.
Nuts.
And I didn't believe it. I expected it to be some piece of something that would crumble when I touched it.
A photocopy.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's the original book from 1947.
Mm.
I just love these bondage covers. The situations they set up are just so insane. Why would you string a woman over top of a pit of vipers and then poke this? There's easier ways of
There was
having.
no internet, there was no TV, you didn't have a book to read, you had to entertain yourself somehow.
Yeah, you know, that's you can see the back here, the
The
nice
Dick
pictures you
Tracy was
watch.
the radio.
But you know, this is a 2.5. It's not going to win any awards for grades, but it's mine. And I like I said, I was looking for this book forever. This checked off that box in my I want to have it, and so I am totally satisfied with this 2.5.
2.5 for $45, by the way. Let's not bury the lead there.
Right.
Ariel, aka Adolfo, always looking out for us. He let me know about a Marvel Boy #1 that was on a live sale, and I was tempted, and I thought, I'm being good. Susie Orman would be proud of you right now. Richard, you don't collect this, but you mentioned good girl art.
Mhm.
Harvey #2 from Marvel.
Okay.
So you have Marvel doing an Archie riff, but
Right.
calling it Harvey. How many different companies can be jammed into one book? But you know, hey, look, it looks like Harvey's painting a fence there. He's painting it white.
Yeah, they're really ripping off Dan DeCarlo there, aren't they?
Yeah, and I hope that's paint.
Sad to say, that came to mind too.
Harvey's young, he's excited.
You
It's
know,
it's
it's
summertime.
yeah.
And by the way, we're really filthy on this show. All right, what is your next piece of show and tell? Your next book?
Here's another book from 1946. This is Jungle Comics number 78. Uh,
Wow.
yep, another bondage cover. Apparently, when you're in the jungle, all you wear is bikinis and shorts.
Well, there's not like a Nordstrom around the corner.
No, but you would think, you know, there's all kinds of insects and blah blah blah. It seems to me to be something different. Anyway, so they're boiling or they're lighting her on fire and
It's actually referred to as flaming death.
blaming death. Yes, and
That's flaming.
there is the Caucasian male assaulting all the Africans. Blah 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 blah. Same old story. But
Colonialist.
yes, I don't I collect them for the art, not necessarily for the background action. So just love this cover. You know, again, you got to take all these golden age books. This is from 46. You got to take it in context of the time. And but yeah, this was great. This is a little bit higher, even, and on the back they even got, for their ads for Sheena, Queen of the Jungle.
So you're not buying it for the sociological subtext.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
buy other books for that.
Just making sure. One book that I was gifted from our buddy Ali from Elite_Comics 11 a couple of years ago. He saw this. Actually, it was a set, and he was like, "Nobody claim this. I'm getting this for our friend John." It is The Adventures of Pat Boone #5.
Yeah.
Look at you. Talk about a white bread colonialist.
Yes, that's a mayonnaise sandwich on white bread right there.
This is the man who took Tutti Frutti from Little Richard, a song about traveling up the Hershey Highway, let's just put it that way, and sanitized it for your protection and had a bigger hit with it than poor.
Uh,
So there's Pat Boone. Now, what happens in Pat Boone comics? Well, you get guest stars like Dick Clark is in this issue.
mhm.
Um, I mean, he's actually on the cover. There he is.
Yeah.
There he is. You've got Frankie Avalon. You've got Jill Corey.
I have no idea. I knew Frankie, I don't know Jill Corey.
We all remember Jill Corey, how she took over Hollywood, right?
Yeah. Is that a photo book, picture book, or is it
No, it is a comic book about the adventures of Pat Boone in
Wow.
Hollywood. You've got, let's see here. Yeah, there's a lot of lyrics, put to pictures.
Okay.
Lots of girls, fawning over Pat. Lots of fashion stories.
Okay.
Lots
So
of
we are not necessarily the target audience for that book.
no, very much a Patsy Walker type audience, and it was done kind of like Prince Valiant. You know how they would have the word the word balloons would not be word balloons; they'd be like narrations around the
Mhm.
panels. Sorry, I wish we could find a better way to display this stuff. And the reason why I'm being so careful is there's a spine split all the
Oh,
way
oh.
from the bottom all the way up to here. So I have to be super careful not to make it worse while I'm trying to show you the magic that is Pat Boone issue 5, which
Thanks,
by the
thanks, Sully. That was really thoughtful of him.
published by DC.
Oh,
Yeah. So they had Pat Boone, Jerry Lewis, and Dean Martin, Bob Hope, and I believe Alan Ladd, The Adventures of Alan Ladd. So
wow.
collect them all, old Hollywood fans. All right, what is your last show and tell book?
Okay. Yeah, I switch books and writing happens to notice it's missing there on the corner. This is Archie Comics 50 from 1951. It's a nice clutch of books in that late 40s, early 50s era. I was looking for this book forever. This is the archetypical definition of headlight covers.
I was going to say good use of the word clutch.
uh, yeah. So this is the infamous headlight cover for with Betty there on the cover.
Explain to
And
the kids what a headlight cover is.
headlight covers when are basically when a woman's assets are highlighted on the
You can
cover.
see
Yeah.
it.
Boobs, 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 boobs. Typically, um, very prominent. Yeah, and you can, if you look at the cover here, you could see that. This is a hard book to get in any grade. I managed to snag a 1.8. I forget how much I paid for this. I think it was 700, but I don't remember specifically anymore. I ended up getting it off of a heritage auction.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Do you know
it's
do you know the
hard.
graders notes is the spine split? Is that why it's a 1/8?
Oh, you know what? I do not remember
Yeah.
why. Oh, it says cover detached on the
Yeah.
front.
That's the
So
issue. What, that yeah, 1/8 is better than nothing.
it's yeah, it's better than what I had before I had this one, which was nothing.
Right.
So, 1/8's good for me. I wanted the book in my collection. I
Mhm.
don't know if I'm willing to pay $4,000 for a higher grade one. It's just not really that important to me. I have it checks my box,
Mhm.
and I can move on.
It's interesting. Archie was bi-monthly back then. I guess.
The
Yeah.
picture on the back there.
Oh, picture rings from Kellogg's Pep.
Pep with real cocaine.
Made with real cocaine, fresh from Colombia. Hey, if you want to hear more of this rambling on, you can support the show by becoming a member. It's easy. You just, for the cost of $2.99 a month, click join right here on YouTube or in the description if you're listening on a podcast, and you will be privy to our special Wednesday show and tell bonus episodes. You also get Thursday live members only streams and chats. You also get 10% off a live sale purchase if you buy something from us on a live sale and you're a member. Keep forgetting to mention that to our people. And you get shout outs like this, where your name goes by super fast and you go, wait, hold on, stop, wait, pause. This also helps Richard and I pay for StreamYard, which is literally doubling in price this
Yeah.
year.
Yes.
Ugh. Ugh. So
Yeah.
just hit join here, and the hard sale is done. I'm going to put away the grease gun and move over to what we call viewer mail.
You've got mail.
My first piece of viewer mail comes from our email at bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com from our buddy Matt Lodahl. As familiar as it is, I read somewhere that Rob Liefeld's Captain America image, seen here in all its glory,
So,
was never used as a cover or in a printed comic. Can this be true? Is it possible that the first and only printed image of this infamous barrel chesticles of Captain America was as part of an interview promo for Heroes Reborn in Wizard number 55? Could this be a newly minted key? Well, Matt, it was not used in the comic. It was a promotional image. I don't think it got the response Rob was thinking it would get. Is it Is it going to make Wizard 55 an expensive book? Well, what's the world's finest issue where Batman's slapping Robin and that became a meme and now that's an expensive book? I mean, we've seen memes drive collectors towards books.
I have a new theory for this image too. For this,
Yeah. What?
My theory is Captain America actually has his back arched
Mm-hmm.
so that it's not as a prominent, the shield is covering up the fact that his back is arched, so his chest isn't as dramatic as it appears.
All right. Then explain to me why his belt goes up to the middle of his bicep.
I can't.
What is he, Fred
I'm
Mertz?
sorry, Rob. I'm trying.
Is this Fred Mertz from I Love Lucy? What's going on? There's just this has been done to death. I don't want to be a cliche and just pile on, but remember, Rob is coming back soon to Youngblood, so get excited, everybody.
Let's wait and see what he's gonna do.
Matt, thanks for that horrible case of PTSD as a Captain America fan you caused for me. I think I've told the story for the new people. Heroes Reborn #1 came out. I bought it. I ripped it up and threw it away. First and only comic book I've ever ripped up and thrown away. And I stopped buying Captain America for the first time since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And then he was gone in 6 issues. And I was like, the skies opened up. The angels are like, hallelujah. Richard, what is your first piece of viewer mail?
My first piece hit me right in the feels. This is George Henry. Yeah, it hurt. Talking about our last episode, a nice treat. An extra lengthy episode of the best and most laid back comic book show on YouTube. Thank you. Try to be laid back. Always something to look forward to on a Monday when I see a new episode pop up on my podcast feed when I'm at work. Richard, one question. Do you remember where you got that X-Men shirt? I checked all my usual sources. It has a lot of sentimental value to me. It was the first issue of X-Men I picked up. Well, actually, my mom did. I asked her to go out and look for X-Men when she was in the radius of the candy store that I grabbed my books from. I was a 9-year-old snob who didn't like those weird new X-Men till some friends from school let me 143 and told me X-Men were cool. What a great issue. Read it 10,000 times. A few months later, I picked up number 141 at a con, which blew my mind. Great book. Apologies for the rambling. Miss my mom, but still have the memories from her getting that book. Plus, it's a Doom and Storm-centric cover. Love the show. Well, thanks, George. I would have worn it, but I had worn it just a couple days ago, and it's not clean. Not that you would know. But that shirt was made by a friend of the show and a buddy of mine, Kevin from Comics. He did these shirts as well. They are wonderfully high-quality shirts, silk screened, not applique, and they just are durable and just love them. Thank you, Kevin. Every time I see Kevin at a show, he gives me more shirts. He's facilitating my wardrobe. He made that one cover though specifically for me because he knows how big of an X-Men and a Dr. Doom fan I am. So many thanks for you to Kevin. I wear that shirt all the time because it's just so cool. And I get compliments on it as well. If you're looking for shirts like this or the X-Men #1 shirt that I wore, actually that was on one of the members only streams. You gotta watch the members only stream. Go to Kmart Comics with an X to his website, and he sells the shirts there. Really good. Really enjoy wearing them.
There you go. And George, thanks for all the kind words about the show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me finish. And I wanted to add this kind of post is what I really enjoy about comics nowadays. It's not necessarily the storylines, and it's how comics affect people and how our memories are tied to certain events. And that's the trigger of nostalgia when your memory is triggered by something. And for me, it's comics from the 80s. For someone else, it may be comics from the 2000s. This one is triggered by a memory of, of his mother, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing it, and it really made my day.
Awesome. All right. Moving on to another email from our bronze and modern gods at gmail.com address from John Kozak. I watched the last show and picked up, amongst other things, that John felt 1983 was the best year for music. Yes, undoubtedly, period. Well, I decided to stream the top 100 hits from 1983 while at work. I have to admit, there were a lot of bangers that year. I'm 54, and that year is definitely part of my sweet spot for favorite music from 80 to 90. So I may be a little biased. Best to you both. Keep the comic hits coming. Synchronicity, The Police. You too, New Year's Day. Boy. I don't know. Boy, what album was New Year's
Yeah,
Day on? War.
War,
Yeah.
right? Red Rocks, the concert.
Oh,
That
always
was
Naked Eyes debut album, really underrated synth pop record. You guys know Always Something There to Remind Me and Promises, Promises, but that whole album is great. Cyndi Lauper's debut album. She's so unusual. Human League, Keep Feeling Fascination, Talking Heads, Burning Down the House, Photographed by Def Leppard, China Girl, David Bowie, Blue Monday by New Order.
wow.
Do I need to go on? Okay, Duran Duran, Seven and the Ragged Tiger. Herbie Hancock, Rocket. Go Betweens, Catalin Kane. That's a shout out to all of my Australian friends out there. I could go on and on and on. 1983, no contest. Best, okay, 86 for comics, 83 for music. Richard?
Yeah, I totally agree. That whole, yeah, but again, I'm biased. Just just like the John is here. I grew up in that era, and that music really defines me. And I really just, again, nostalgia. It brings back memories. Memories are tied to certain songs. I can still remember dancing to Nine of Clubs, which is this alternative club in Cleveland, to certain songs. I can still remember 40 years later individuals dancing to certain songs. I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can remember those people and the expressions, and they had unique dance styles, and I can remember them dancing to that song. Memories are powerful things.
It's before Michael Jackson took over radio. So
Mhm,
it's right when Thriller came out. So he
mhm.
hadn't like completely dominated yet. You had still a lot of experimentation happening because of MTV. So radio wasn't afraid to play something, like Time Clock of the Heart by Culture Club, which, just a few years later would have never been played on American radio because he looks like a woman. So yeah, things were never the same after that. You still had breakout regional hits that grew into national hits, and that doesn't happen anymore unless it's She Won Him Too. I'm up now from Cleveland, Ohio. All right, what is your next piece of viewer mail?
Nice plug.
Thank you.
My next one is from Vexer, one of our best buds here on YouTube. Great show again, guys. Just for the record, Richard, I read a lot of Gun Honey covers. And I took this as what I think he meant it, meaning that the covers are the important part of the book. And Gun Honey covers, which if you haven't seen them before and you're a fan of Good Girl art, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Titan does great job with those covers, and yep, ample assets are featured. So if you like Good Girl art, and the books are good too, read the comics. But I read a lot of their covers.
Ariel, I think you have a new phrase to add to the drinking game, which would be assets. My next piece of viewer mail comes from Mark Hodges. I can relate to having a hard time completing a run. My primary collecting likes are for golden silver age sci-fi books. Hey, you
Yikes.
saw my Spaceman earlier, right? After 2 years of searching, I finally completed my run of Gold Key Lost in Space series, Space Family Robinson. And I am now trying to finish a run of Gorgo from Charlton. 3 issues left. I really like to find these books at cons. It's a lot more rewarding finding these books in the wild than just ordering them online. Thanks for the show, Mark Hodges. Mark, I agree. I mean, we can dial anything up on eBay now. And if you want to pay the price, it can be delivered in a week. That's not fun, right?
I totally agree. I love the thrill of the hunt, except when you have one issue left. X-Men 111. I was doing my X-Men run from 94 to 300. I could not find in the wild X-Men 111. It's a stupid filler issue.
Yeah.
Finally came across it on eBay, and I said, screw it, I'm done. And I just paid for it and got it so I could be done with that run. So I other than that last kind of frustrating issue, definitely find them in the wild. It's fun to collect them that way.
I mean, that Marvel Boy #1, I need to complete that run. I just won't buy it online. I want to buy it at a show. I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to take it for a test drive.
Sure.
Miss America #1, same thing. You've seen me kick the tires on a few of those. Just cannot bring myself to pull the trigger yet.
Well,
But
those are also not cheap books. I don't blame you for wanting to get the lay of the land on them and look at the condition of the book in person.
yeah, well, wrap it up with your final piece of viewer mail.
My last piece is from James Reeves, who sent us an email at our bronzeandmoderngods@gmail.com address. Hey guys, just some random thoughts from the past 2 weeks. I have been lucky enough to drive multiple pre-war race cars. The only common thing is that they are all workouts. Yeah, no synchronized gears for those buddies. Controls aren't standardized, with brake, throttle, clutch locations being idiosyncratic based on the mark.
Oof.
The Alpha 8C 2300 is probably my favorite. I am so jealous. That said, I do know Conan was published in Canada in French. Might not be too difficult to track down, although I'm not sure the French used by Conan will be that useful in conversation. Was talking about
Le Crumb.
I was talking about buying foreign language comics to refresh my French. It's because you just don't use it. You forget it, and I would love to be refreshed in it. Yeah. Conan would be kind of like learning English by reading old Thors with these and thys. Yeah, this may not be the best place to learn conversational, but it's definitely. Thank you for letting us know. Pre-war race cars. I am super jealous. That sounds like an amazing thing. I want to go to Goodwood for their show that they do in England, where they take old race cars and show them. And it's. I would love to drive one of those old race cars. A couple of things stop me. One, they are incredibly expensive nowadays, and I would be afraid to drive anything that's that rare. And like you say, they are individuals. They have their own character and personality, and trying to row through the gears on a 70-year-old car that has a clutch as stiff as I'll get out. It would be a difficult thing to do. I'd spend more time worrying about doing all that than driving. But yeah, if you happen to have any pictures of you driving, send them to me. I'd love to see them because I think that's such a cool thing to do.
All right. No thanks. I'm good over here. We talked about X-Men earlier. One of your favorite books, one of the books you have a complete run of up until what, issue 300? Is that where you stopped?
That's where I originally stopped. I'm about up to 400 now.
Oh, wow. You are a brave man heading into the X-Men run in the 90s, which is where we're going to head. That's where we're going to head when we head to the 25-year rule. The 25-year rule is when we go back to 1999, which is when nostalgia hits that rule of 25 years, when you want to recollect your childhood. So if you came up in that time, this is the segment for you. Unfortunately, the books weren't that good. Like, here's an example. Mutant X #4, Richard.
Didn't read it. I was out.
Me too. I was still collecting, but I did not read this. This was a spinoff from X Factor, where Havoc, the real Havoc from our Earth, Marvel Earth, is thrown into an alternate reality. Absolute Havoc.
Oh, God.
From DC. This was a weird period for X-Men spinoff titles. You had Cable, X-Man with Nate Gray. I know Evan is a big fan of that book. I do not understand Evan. Why? Generation X, Mutant X, many more. This ran for 32 issues and ended in 2001. You got little Madeline Pryor there as the Goblin Queen in this alternate reality. Fantastic Four were a big part of this book in this alternate reality. I never read it. I have no idea why. It's written by Howard Mackey, so I knew that was a label that told me, stay away. Whenever I would see that name on the front of a cover, I would say, I can confidently pass this book by. It does not appeal to my sensibilities. If you want to try Mutant X, please see your doctor. But if you insist, it's basically cover price on eBay. Maybe you can even find it in the dollar bins. Did you guys read this book? Am I full of it? Hit me up in the comments. Let me have it as we head to the. Oh, you have a comment about this book, Richard?
I have a comment about the trade dress. The font that they used during this era, it was just abysmal.
Brutal, right?
Oh, it's just terrible. Hard to read from a distance. The colors are just not complimentary. I just don't understand who actually approved this stuff.
Well, this was the early days of computer lettering. Remember when what was that program where you could make your own computer lettering? Everyone was using it at that time.
Photographer,
it's something like that, and everybody had that program on their PC, and they were doing. And this is a Comic Craft, the beginning of Comic Craft fonts. So it really homogenized the line, made everything look alike. Not a fan of computer lettering. I wish Artie Simic was alive.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it's here to it's what's replaced hand lettering, to be honest.
Oh, it's not changing anytime soon. You're not going to pay someone to design a logo like Todd Klein did back in the days. Oh, while we whine and moan and complain, we're going to show this underrated books of the week slide. And Richard, you can tell us about another book that you feel is underrated.
My pick this week is Sandman Mystery Theater #1, Vertical Comics, back in 1993. This title was overshadowed by the other Sandman title. It has nothing to do with the other DC Sandman. It's written by Matt Wagner, which immediately should make you interested in it. Matt Wagner, who did the Mage series, which was absolutely amazing. If you haven't read Mage, you need to go do that right now. It takes place, our style is by Guy Davis. He has a very unique style that kind of
drew an independent comic called Baker Street that was somewhat popular in the 80s. It was about punk rockers on the streets.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. Mm-hmm. This book takes place in the late 30s, 1938. It's got that kind of vibe to it. The main character, as you see him featured on the cover of issue #1, he's wearing a gas mask and a hat, and he has a gun, and the gun shoots out sleeping gas, and it puts, whoever he shoots it at, it puts them to sleep. Not exactly the most dangerous weapon, unless somebody happens to be balancing on a wire or something. And he has various gadgets. You could equate him to like Batman. He has no superpowers, other than he dreams, and in his dreams, things are revealed to him. This series ran for about 70 issues back up until 1999. And it's an interesting read. If you like the film noir style, then this is a good book. The Wikipedia equates it to I don't know if you've ever read any the Thin Man books, that whole film noir style, and the movies as well, the Thin Man movies. It's that same kind of feel to it. If you haven't seen Thin Man, it's a great movie if you like people drinking all the time. The GPA for this book, 9.8, only goes for $55. You can buy trades of this. There's a number of trades. Trades #1 covers the first 12 issues if you want to read that, and I'm sure you can find that cheap as well. But if you're looking for a good story by Matt Wagner, I definitely give it a hit.
This is a book that I always wanted to read. It's on my list. By the way, I'm still working my way through Starman. I promise all you people who have pushed me to read Starman, you're right. It's great. I'm still working through it. I just think this is a book. I know it's Matt Wagner and Guy Davis. It's just tailor-made for Howard Chaykin, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Why wasn't this a Howard Chaykin book? I would have it picked it up at I don't know, probably would have gotten very filthy very quickly, but I'm in. My underrated book this week is a returning champion. I think it's like the third or fourth time this has been underrated or a hot book of the week in the 4.5-year life of this podcast. We teased it at the beginning. It is Totally Awesome Hulk #1, the first appearance of Amadeus Cho as the Hulk. Now, why is this underrated? Well, rumors are swirling rumors that Logan Kim has been cast as Amadeus Cho for the MCU. What does this mean? It means this book is now selling for up to $20 on eBay if it's raw. Now be careful. We have no idea what version of Amadeus Cho we're going to get, if we're going to get him for sure in the MCU. It could be Hercules' sidekick, Amadeus Cho. It could be Amadeus Cho, mastermind, mathematical genius, Amadeus Cho. Or it could be Braun, aka Totally Awesome Hulk, Amadeus Cho. Spin that wheel, pull the arm on that slot machine.
And he could appear for 5 minutes on screen.
Exactly. Now, why am I saying this is an underrated book if I'm not sure about the potential investment? Because it's a great read. Greg Pak is a great writer. It is an excellent series. He's funny. He writes plots. Remember plots, Richard? Where a story, they would have a beginning, some rising action, a climax, and then a conclusion. This book has those things, often in the same issue. Wow. So, yes, Totally Awesome Hulk, #1. Potential spec, better read.
I totally agree. This is a great book, regardless of whether or not it's popular in the MCU at any one moment. Pick it up. Greg Pak does a great job at it. I would recommend it highly.
Thanks, Richard. And everybody else, we will see you members on Wednesday, and everyone else, we will catch you on Monday. So have a great week.
Everybody stay safe.